Good evening. This is live 7 o'clock news bulletin from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The first Omani-Chinese forum stresses the role of tourism in supporting bilateral relations between both countries. In the governorate of Dhofar, the first Mehrbod festival is launched to activate the cultural and economic movement in the governorate of Dhofar. And the Syrian government regains complete control over Deir Ezzor as Russia demands the United Nations Security Council shelve the sarin gas attack report. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines and now the details. Omani-Chinese forum stressed on enhancing the role of tourism in supporting bilateral relations and highlighted the civilizational and cultural dimensions of both countries. The forum, which held by Omani-Chinese Friendship Committee, witnessed participation of 22 Chinese tourism companies to discuss enhancing cooperation in field of touristic and experiences exchange among the touristic companies and flight operators from China and the Sultanate, in addition to review challenges and means of tackling them and providing touristic facilitation from both sides. The forum included inauguration of the website for the Omani-Chinese Friendship Committee. The forum was presided over by His Excellency Yahya bin Saeed Al Jabri, Chairman of the Special Economic Zone Authority in Duqm. On the sideline of the forum, Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry organized bilateral meeting between Omani and Chinese businessmen to discuss about developing economic relations and available trading opportunities provided by both countries for investors. Royal Navy of Oman RNO held a ceremony to celebrate its annual day. The activities of the night were held at the parade ground of Saeed bin Sultan Naval Base. The commander of the Queen of the Q took permission to start events of the ceremony. Then the RNO music band presented musical show and silent weapon show, in addition to a number of other various arts. The activities of the ceremony was presided over by Rear Admiral Abdullah bin Khamis Al-Raisi, commander of RNO. Activities of the first Mehrbod festival were launched in the governorate of Dhofar under the auspices of His Excellency Sayyid Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar. The festival focused on shedding light on the landmarks, beaches, culture and civilization aspects of the wilaya of Mehrbod. The opening ceremony included operetta as well as some traditional dances performed by the local bands. It also witnessed a number of seminars on religion and culture, various kinds of exhibitions as well as shows for children. The participants expressed that such events are significant in terms of the economy as well as acquainting the visitors to the historical aspects of the area. The festival, which will also play a great role in encouraging the youth to preserve their traditions and heritage. The Royal Support Vessel's Fulk As-Salama returns to Port Sultan Qaboos after its voyage to some East African countries following the royal directives of His Majesty the Sultan. During its voyage, the vessels sailed from Port Sultan Qaboos to Zanzibar in Tanzania, then to Dar es Salaam in the same country, and then to Mombasa in Kenya, with its mission to convey greetings, love and peace from the Omani people to nations of those countries. The vessel was received with warm welcome in all the ports that it visited, and it was praised for its efforts. Oman oil price general delivery reached $58 and 98 cents per barrel. According to Dubai Mercantile Exchange, Oman oil price rose by 45 cents. The average price of Oman oil November delivery reached $54.02 per barrel, thus $3.63 higher than price of October delivery. And still to come in our news bulletin. For the past 40 years, a French astrogeologist has been working to find out whether A meteor crushed, melted and fractured the rock on its impact in Haute-Vienne. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Syrian military sources reported today that the government regained complete control over the eastern city of Deir Ezzor from Daesh. The Daesh group had for years besieged a government enclave in the city until the army relieved in it early September, starting a battle for the rebel-held parts of the city. A military media unit run by the army reported that they captured Al-Hamadiyya, Sheikh Yassin, Al-Ardi and Al-Rashidiyya districts in recent attacks, and the Al-Hawiqa districts was the last to be held by the rebel. Russia demanded that the United Nations Security Council shelve a report blaming the Syrian government for the sarin gas attack and that a new probe be conducted into the use of deadly nerve agent. The text circulated to the Security Council also called for a 6-month extension of the United Nations-led panel tasked with identifying who is behind chemical attacks in Syria's 6 years war. The United States put forward yesterday a rival draft resolution that would extend for 2 years the mandate of the panel known as the Joint Investigative Mechanism (JIM). Russia has sharply criticized the findings of the JIM, which said the Syrian Air Force dropped sarin on the opposition-held village of Khan al-Sheikhun nearly 7 months ago. More than 80 people died in the April 4th attack. Russia has questioned the work of the panel because the experts did not go to Khan Sheikhun and worked from samples Moscow maintains may have been tampered by Western intelligence. Iraqi forces today entered the town of Al-Qaim in the Daesh group, last bastion in the country. Military commanders said troops from the army and the elite counter-terrorism service have started the assault on the center of the Qaim. Iraq's Joint Operations Command said paramilitary units were also involved in the assault, including on the villages of Saada, Husayba and Al-Karbala. A Palestinian military group announced today another 5 fighters had been killed when Israel blew up a tunnel from the Gaza Strip, bringing the total number of dead to 12. The group said 5 more men trapped in the tunnel were dead. Israel had on Monday carried out a controlled explosion on the tunnel crossing the border. 2 of the 12 dead belonged to the Hamas, the group that controls Gaza, with the other 10 from a jihad group. Since Monday's explosion, Israel has refused to allow the Palestinian Civil Defense Authority access to the site to search for survivors. Something is lurking under the French town of Réquechort. At least that's what a number of scientists are saying, studying samples deep beneath the surface. They claim the town lies on the meteorite crash site, 200 million years old. Here is a report.
In the heart of this forest in central France, a digger is disturbing the peace. The rocky soil it's hammering has attracted scientists the world over, for beneath the surface are traces of a meteorite which landed over 200 million years ago.
We're in a corner at the bottom of the crater. We're about 10 meters down and we're crossing what we call an impact melt, a blend of materials fused together covering the bottom of the crater in which we can find enclaves of non-melted materials.
For the past 40 years, Philippe Lambert has been working on this specific astrobleme, a term given to the scar left by a cosmic collision. The samples he's studying might allow him to understand the origins not just of the asteroid, but also of planets of our solar system. In this small museum dedicated to the meteorite, there are no fragments of the astral body itself, but traces of its impact, melted and fractured rock. According to researchers, the asteroid had a circumference of around 2 kilometers and would have created a crater of over 20 kilometers.
Au niveau de la vitesse de l'impacteur, elle a été estimée
The
à 20
speed of
km
impact
par
was
seconde.
estimated around 20 kilometers per second, which is equivalent to 72,000 kilometers per hour. The force was so considerable that it vaporized on impact and provoked the destruction of all existing rock. Melt, fusion, the expulsion and destruction of life in a perimeter of 200 kilometers.
Dans un périmètre d'environ 200 km.
The explosion was comparable to thousands of nuclear blasts and profoundly altered the landscape and later the local architecture. For thousands of years, residents have used the leftover rocks, called impactites, to build their houses, and even the Rochechouart castle, though it was only a few decades ago that their abundance and originality became a subject of research.
Everyone was still skeptical for a long time. I'm not even sure that everyone is convinced there was even a meteorite.
Doubts may remain, but organized tours are helping people to know more about this discovery, unique in France and rare in Europe. With scientists set to work on samples, the mysterious meteorite may contain clues as to the origin of life on Earth.
And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear to partly cloudy skies will prevail over the Governorate of Dhofar with chances of scattered rain over the coastal areas. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning over the Governorate of South Sharqiya and Al-Wusta. Winds will be easterly to southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1 meter. More details on your screen. This is the Sultanate of Oman television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The first Omani-Chinese forum stresses the role of tourism in supporting bilateral relations between both countries. In the Governorate of Dhofar, the first Mehrbod festival is launched to activate the cultural and economic movement. The Syrian government regains complete control over Ezzor as Russia demands the United Nations Security Council shelve the sarin gas attack report. And with that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.